I have done that.
Thank you.
Okay.
And
Thank you, Sujata ji, for the interesting and nice introduction. So I will request, we need to do what is known as ice breaking. It's very difficult to do ice breaking when I am overseas, okay? When we are doing on Zoom. But I will do something. I will ask each one of you to introduce your neighbor. Say two good things about your neighbor. So let us start in a clockwise manner. So the extreme left person to say two good things about your friend on the left, okay? Can you do that?
Sir, you start from
Yeah.
you introduce who said this.
You
Start from yours. Okay, madam. Start from yourself. Focus on more.
Something is wrong with camera.
I don't do this.
Yes. Okay.
Introduce yourself and two good thing about yourself.
Myself, Dr. Avtar. First, my good thing is that I have a habit of hard working. And second,
We have to tell them.
About neighbor.
About neighbor, left side neighbor.
Yes.
first thing is to solve any problem without any spirits. And second thing is harder.
Thank you.
You have to continue in life. Don't be child's father.
Okay, continue with right.
Madam.
Myself, Komal Kolori, and good thing about her is
Not her.
left
Okay, you are with the right.
hardworking, and he's doing work without any mistake.
Little loud, it has to reach to him. Everyone shout from.
Start your mic.
And use your mic. Hello. Ahmad sir, what are you doing?
Good morning, everyone present here. So I'm Professor Madhavan. So yeah, if I have to talk about Professor,
Loudly, loud, not audible.
so I would say he's very hardworking and he's very dedicated to our institute. So this is all about Parth.
Good morning, all of you. He is a Dr. Pralhad sir. He is he's an expert in physics. He is very hard worker.
So I request everyone to be loud.
Good morning to all of you. So my right side, Professor Dr. Misra is there, principal of Polytechnic, and he's very committed, hardworking, and living his life, and he's a jolly person also. Thank you. On my right, there is a Dr. Mohan Thakre. That he's first time I'm with him, so I'm not knowing anything regarding him. Sorry, sir. Thank you. Good morning. Good morning.
Wait 1 minute. It's not audible. Everyone talk loudly like this. Otherwise, it will not reach. I'm checking audio.
Hello everyone. My name is Dr. Mohan Thakre. I am from electrical department. And my right side, Josavi sir, is the head of the civil department. He is dedicated and sincere.
You are not listening. Repeat it. I'm going to ask you to repeat. Both. Can you check with audio also?
Yes, sir. Hello. Hello. Good morning, everyone. My name is Dr. Mohan Thakur. I am from electrical department. On my right hand side is Gosavi sir. He is the head of civil department and he is dedicated and a very sincere. Thank you.
Good morning all. I am Sri Krishna Gosavi from Civil Department. To my right side, Dr. Ledway is there. He is heading first year department. It's a very polite person with good administrative skills and management. Thank you. Correct. This is the way you given into this.
Okay, good morning everyone. I am Dr. S. A. Lenway. I am working as the head of first year engineering department. To my right side, Ravikiran Yadav is there. He is a very student and he is very sincere and hard worker.
Good morning. My name is Ravikiran Yadav. To my right, Dr. Deepika Madam is there. He is heading electrical department. She is very good at administrative skill and she is very sincere. Thank you.
I'm Dr. Deepika Mani. To my right side, Dr. Prashant Pawansar is there. He is the best engineer of the state. And I get the one very joyous and full of energy. Another quality of his is he is very innovative and he implements very innovative practices in study.
Good morning. To my right, I have Dr. Kenu. He is very hardworking, even though he joined newly. He has helped in various activities, especially running Techno Society to 2022 conference.
Good morning all. Good morning all. This is Amarjit Kene. On my right side, I have Dr. S. Panikar. He's head of mechanical engineering department. He's a very multitasking person. He works from 9 to 6 continuously in the department for IPC as well as the NAC and all.
Good morning all. Myself Dr. Panikar. On my right hand side, Dr. Mahesh Matpati sir is there. He is handling the responsibility of Genesis coordinator in students specializing in antenna design. And very important thing, he is always ready to take new responsibility, new challenges, and he complete it with very effective. This is about Matpati sir.
Good morning all. This is Dr. Mahesh Matpati. On my right side, Professor M.A. Deshmukh is there. He is very sincere and he supports all the time wherever and he is looking after training and management activities. He is very sincere and helping to all students also. Thank you.
Good morning all. Myself Manoj Deshmukh from ENTC department. To the right side, Professor Jagdish Nallur. He is my best friend and he is sincere and doing his activity with sincerity and honesty. Thank you.
Good morning all. Myself Jay Sadar and my right side is SM Singh sir. He's having good administrative skill and he is a dedicated person. Thank you.
Good morning all. My name is Dev Maruti Shinde. My right hand side is Dr. Sri Krishna Bosle. And he is completed his PhD from National Institute of Technology, Silchar, and he is expert in mechanical in engineering, and he is having the good kind of the journal publications in the reputed journals, and his nature is very cooperative and helpful nature. Thank you one and all.
Good morning. Myself Sri Krishna Bosle. I am to Professor Digambar Kashi. He is very smart working and full as well as hard working man.
Good morning. I am Digambar Kashi from Mechanical Engineering Department. To the right side, Professor E.M. Dadis is here. Since from last 8 years, I am knowing him. He is a very versatile and innovative person as well as he is very kind person.
Good morning. Good morning all and good afternoon to class, sir. This is Professor Antol Jade. Right side to me is Avinash Parke. He is very sincere and dedicated to any assignments.
Good morning. Myself Avinash Parke. Good morning. To my right side, P.S. Vatti sir.
He's head of Department of Electronics and Telecommunication, Sweri College of Engineering Polytechnic, Pandharpur. His nature is very helping and he's a very hardworking person.
Good morning, myself Pandharpur working as a head of department EMTC College, and my right side, Mr. Professor Pukane sir is there. The person is there and he is dedicated to his works. Thank you. Hello, good morning. Myself, Dr. Harsh from electrical department. To my left hand side, Professor Gorke sir is there. He is leading electrical diploma department. And two good things about him, he is very enthusiastic and supportive person. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone, and good afternoon, Pralhad sir. Myself, Mr. Godke SN. I am working as a head of department in electrical diploma engineering. And at my right side, Professor R.J. Sarangi is there, and he is very cheerful personality and very helpful person. Thank you.
Good morning, sir. My name is Saul Kerevana. Now working as a head of the department, civil engineering department, polytechnic side. On my left side, Anil Nandisa is there. He is having the leadership qualities. He is very good and hardworking person. Thank you.
Very good morning, one and all. Myself, Dr. Anil Lange. I am from Pharmacy Department. To my left side, Mr. Sujit Inamdar is there. He is from ENTC department. As far as I know, he is very versatile person and hard worker in his actual given task. And also he is a multitasking person.
Good morning, one and all. So my name is Sujit Inamdar and I'm working as an assistant professor in electronics and telecommunication engineering department in Sweri. And to the left, Prashant Mandare sir, who is from College of Engineering Poly, is seated over here and he is working very nicely in the academic front as well as in the administrative front also. Thank you.
Good morning. This is Prashant Bandare, working as the head of department in computer engineering at the Polytechnic College. My left side, Ganesh Misal sir is there, who is working as the IT department head. He is a very helpful person and also user friendly also, so that we can reach to him and ask for anything. Thank you. Good morning. My name is Ganesh Misal, working as a HOD in information technology department. To my left side, there is a Kokore sir. He is a very helpful person and hardworking person.
Good morning. My name is Avinash Kokre. I am working in civil engineering department. My left side, Dr. Harshvardhan Ronge is there. He is a very cool person and he is a young PhD scholar and he is also good researcher.
That, yeah, everybody completed? No, okay.
My name is Dr. Harshvardhan Ronge. On my name is Sadanand Jagtap is there. We are meeting for the first time. He is HOD in mechanical engineering department of College of Engineering Polytechnic. Thank you. Myself Sadanand Jagtap. I am working as a HOD in engineering. My left side, Professor Mandusha is there. Who is as I know, he is a sincere, hardworking. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. Myself Satish Mandwe, heading Diploma Pharmacy. To my left side, Professor A.D. Sapkar is there, who is working as a professor in mechanical diploma engineering. And as per my knowledge, he is a time person and thank you, sir.
Good morning, all. Myself Avinash Sapkar, working in mechanical engineering department. To my left side, Mrs. Rajmani Madam. She is hardworking and cooperative faculty.
Good morning, and all. On my left side, Nimisha Deval Madam is there. She is not hardworking but smart working is there, and she is too much kind and helpful image. Good morning to all. I am Nimisha Devan, working as an assistant professor in CRC department. On my left hand side, Professor Sanjini Kapoor madam is there. Actually, she is very smart worker as well as dedicated to her work, as well as she is a very good listener. Thank you.
Good morning, all. My name is Mrs. Sanjani Sajjan Kadam, and to my left side, I'm having Avtare ma'am. And about her qualities, she is self-aware. Anyone we got to tell to her, and she is also persistent about her work. Thank you.
Okay, I think everybody introduced, right?
Shall I
Yes.
introduce?
Yes.
Okay, good. Thank you. So the idea is, oh, sorry, Meenakshi. Oh, sorry, people are online. Okay. Yeah,
Meenakshi
okay.
Pawar.
Oh, sorry.
Yes,
Yeah.
sir. Thank you, sir, for giving me opportunity. Due to my health problem, this time I'm attending online. Next time I will be there, one of the part of this forum. My name is Dr. Meenakshi Pawar. I'm heading Electronics and Telecommunication Department. And along with me online, I think Vidyarani Shirsagar madam is also there. So I will be telling about her qualities. She is having excellent managerial the managerial skills and as well as leadership quality. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much.
Now I will take privilege to tell two good things about Dr. Meenakshi Pawar, as she has also joined the outline forum. Dr. Meenakshi Pawar is heading the Electronics and Telecommunication Department. She is very dedicated to her department, and another good thing about her is she is a kind-hearted person. Thank you, sir.
Anyone else from the Zoom introducing anyone else?
But Pati sir, Wangekar sir, she's there.
No, they have completed.
Okay,
Done, huh?
okay, sir.
Okay, okay. So shall I continue?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Okay. All right. So now it's my turn. So Sujata ji shared about my professional space. I am a human being, so I need to share about me, the human, from my journey. Okay. So I am from Kerala. And that is, let me see where I can annotate. Yeah, so I'm from Palakkad district, okay? And you know, my surname is actually Gupta. In 7th century, I don't know where we migrated. We migrated from somewhere in north to Kerala, and only about 500 families are in Kerala, and we still marry each other. But now people are going to marry from outside also. And this is my traditional house, very traditional Kerala house with wooden floors. And if you are coming to Kerala, I welcome you to come and visit my home. Okay, now I was born before 1970, but I got into something as early as 1970. And that's my father. He was a poet. He was a diploma engineer in civil engineering. But he ended up in postal department. He wants to be near to the family, to take care of the parents, paddy fields. And he never published his poems. So at his 70th birthday, we published his poem. And we did something about it. But I learned a lot from him, as well as his brother. For example, when I was 5-year-old, we had a lot of tapioca. And we were selling tapioca, elephant, and several vegetables. We used to have a lot of paddy land, and we used to have competitions, buffalo racing, cow racing in the paddy field. So I used to sell tapioca to the people. I was 5-year-old. I had a balance. And then 1 kilogram, 2 kilogram, 3 kilogram, 4 kilogram. I cannot go beyond 5 kilogram, by the way. And something I did, I noted down how much kilogram was being sold, but I did not know the names of the people who took the tapioca. And majority of them were, not well-to-do people. And they say, I'll give you the money later. I smilingly said, it's okay. And at the end of the day, I didn't have much money. My grandfather, my elder father, they were in charge of this paddy field. They did not scold me. And that continued for several weeks. But that was paying it forward. I connected with all those families later when I grew up. I have slept in some of their families. I have good friends with some of those families. Even now, they remember me for what I have given them for free when they were poor. So that is where I come from. And when I grew up, my father and his younger brother started with power looms. And we call that as lungi. And we used to make lungi printing by taking this cloth. Actually, I don't have the actual picture of this. I took it from the web. So, this was white. We used to print white. Then this printing was done in Erode, Tamil Nadu. I did not know much about innovation then. I did not know anything about financial management then. Then there was an opportunity when I was 14 years old. My father was quite upset. This is a school where he studied. He used to travel 8 kilometers every day in the morning from his house to the school because there were no schools, and evening 8 kilometers back. And he became what he is because of that school. And his teacher, the owner of the school, was facing financial difficulties. In 1979, he did what we now commonly known as crowdsourcing. And then he asked me to help him to put all the accounts in order. There were corrections in the original document. I was asked to copy that properly into another document, income, expenditure, daily balance. I was doing cash flow analysis, cash flowing in, cash flowing out. That was my first, proper way of managing money. I learned certain things about it, but I learned later more about it. And I'm still learning more. There is no end of learning. And in 2004, my student, he is also originally from Kerala, India. In Singapore, he was studying. We started my first company in Singapore, Robhadaha Robotic Solutions. Robhada is a name given by my professor from IIT Madras. He had written a Sanskrit book, Rojaniya Badha Idi Robhada. That is the Anvaya he had given for that new word. We started that. And because we won international prizes, I'll share later my technology point of view. And in 2008, we expanded to Bangalore with a 2.5 crore investment from Indian Angel Networks, IAN. They are angel networks. I'll talk about angel networks funding at a later point in time. And we introduced, I don't know whether you are aware of this, anyone is aware of that, the first floor cleaning robot in India in 2009. Eureka Forbes was our exclusive distribution channel during that time. I failed miserably. We failed miserably because though we were the first to move, there is something called first movers advantage in certain markets. We were the first to introduce floor cleaning robot. The people were not ready. India has a tendency to be biased. At that time, if you know, a Tamil movie by Endiran. Endiran in Tamil means mechanical person or something like that, was released. And there were a lot of Hollywood movies as well. And people thought robots are always intelligent like humans. Or many people considered or they expected robots will be better than humans. And that expectation was wrong. There was, or even now, there is no media support for innovation. There is no support for engineering, science, or social science, whatever that is, the innovations happening in India. There is no, everybody talks about politics, cinema, all the entertainment, and this is the biggest bottleneck to innovate. Fortunately, it is changing lately, and a lot of startups are coming. Now, India in Asia is the second largest unicorns in Asia after China. 114 unicorns. Each unicorn, a unicorn means they have $1 billion revenue at this moment. There are 114 and it's counting. Indonesia has 11. Singapore has about 15 plus or minus. So India is very good now, especially Atmanirbhar Bharat. Now, I did not know anything about entrepreneurship in 2004, 2010, but I learned everything from my student. And we exited the market in 2010 because I could not manage my cash flow. Angel investors were not happy with our performance. And this is one mindset has to change. And in 2010, I started a social enterprise in Palakkad, Kerala, with almost 900 members from 90 villages, and some of them are in 12 nations across the world. We created an $8 million worth charitable trust. I exited that in 2022, not because it is going very bad, but it is in the safe hands of now Rashtriya Swayamsevak Sangh. They came to help us at certain point in time. So this is a social enterprise to help common man. And these 861 members include auto rickshaw drivers, farmers, and common man who contributed 10,000 rupees per month. And when they reach 1 lakh Indian rupee, they will become a member. It was a moment to empower, a movement, common man. And the story continued. My father did not publish his poems. his poems were converted into video albums. You know, Padma Shri Hariharan, he sung for that. And I do not know how many of you know the South Indian, singers very well, but there were very prominent singers who sung for this. But one of the songs was featured on Doordarshan national television by one of the famous Mohiniyattam artist from Kerala. She is from Kerala Kala Mandalam, which teaches Kathakali and several other art forms. And then one of my friends came to me in 2015, can I use your father's poem in a movie? And that led to I producing an Indian feature film called Scent of Cigar. It is nothing to do with cigar. And it won several international prizes. And it was never screened in Indian theaters. So it is a different film. And my journey continued. So that is the, quite a number of awards. My journey continued. Let me explain a little more. And in 2017, started with my student a 3D printing company. And 2019, I exited. The student went back to Chennai, India, because he got married. Before that, we created our own 3D printing. And we got Kickstarter crowdsourcing for $73,000 US and expanded to India in 2018. I am proud to say this company got 3 major projects from Atmanirbhar Bharat. That is from Indian Navy. And they became cash positive in 2021. And I started another student from Chennai, how to help bring primary school children and elderly people in Singapore. And I exited again in 2020, given that to the best hands of people who can manage it. So my role in some of these companies to make them reach successful state of being or capable of managing themselves. I see that as a very important step where India, you all can become like this. Make your students to do things good and you help them, support them. And in 2017, National University of Singapore wanted to have a new residential living space to be created. And being an entrepreneur, they selected me. I didn't have any idea about it. I started from scratch, a clean slate. In 2022 January, university accepted the model and they created one more house in 2022, third house in 2023, and 2 more will come in 24 and 25. This is a new housing model where I consider that as a Gurukula system. I live with them. And the new millennials are different. The generation X or Y or Z are different. We do peer mentoring. We do proactive pastoral caring. We do leadership training. We can talk about that later, some other time. And it is continuing. Okay? And in 2019, along with my PhD scholar, I started a deep tech AI robotics company in Singapore, and it is continuing. And COVID came. I brought my companies and my students' company together and my friend's company to develop affordable emergency ventilators in 2021. The moment Prime Minister Modi announced lockdown, within 4 days, we started working. Within 4 days, just 4 days. And we need to make it affordable, 10% of the market cost, 10%. And we studied most of the ventilators, the 80% of the features cost only 20% of the cost. And the 20% of the cost, I mean, features will cost 80%. So do we really need these features? Can we really bring down this cost? Yes. This is called the 80-20 rule. Okay. It is called Pareto optimality. In many places, this 80-20 is used. I'm not sure whether you heard about this. So people say 20% of the people own the 50% of the wealth, or 80% wealth in the world, and 80% of the people own only 20% of the wealth. There are several things, such stories. So we try to focus on the important features. And there is another aspect also, how the 80% features are used most. 20% of features are not used much. So we did, work on that, and we could really bring down the cost effectively, and that is being used in 17 countries. We also collaborated with Massachusetts Institute of Technology, Prana Foundation, and we can split a ventilator into two, and this is being used in different countries in the world. And it is going through what is known as FDA approval in US. And what I would like to say is, none of us worked in ventilators. I didn't have any idea about ventilators. None of my friends had any ideas. 2020 and 21, every day, including Saturday and Sundays, including Deepavali Day, including Christmas, including Vishu, the New Year Day in Kerala, we used to sing up on a daily basis for 1 hour. I brought in a large number of people from across the world to contribute to that. So that is a capability you have, I have, you can have, everybody can have. So don't assume that we don't know anything. Don't assume that age is a factor in learning. Don't assume that we cannot reinvent the wheel. We can reinvent the wheel. And in that process, what we did is, typically when multiple companies come together and develop together, that is called co-development. The CEOs and CTOs will have their own egos. Not easy to collaborate. So what we adopted, we tried to open our boundaries. And we followed what is known as the open innovation. And this is very hot in the world now. I'll talk about that later. And I like to conclude this particular sharing, that we generally used to have a feeling an individual is an alpha male or an alpha female, and I can be the person, lead, others follow. That's no longer the case. When I am part of a team, I need to know how to make that team smart. So you are a team now. How do you make each one of you smart? And that's the way we have to work. So that is my sharing about myself, to get a feel of what I am. I like to pause here before continuing. We have another 1 hour. So I like to ask you, do you need a break for 5 minutes, going to the toilets? Or you may ask me anything at this point about what I have shared, and someone wants to go to the toilet and come back, you can do that, and we can save time also.
Yes.
So Dr. Pralhad, is it okay?
Yes, sir. Continue.
Yeah. Any questions? Any comments? Don't hold back anything. Okay. Why I'm sharing a lot about, we don't generally boast about ourselves. You have to share about yourself. It's not boasting. That's the first thing I learned when I entered in Singapore. If you don't share who you are, others will not know you who you are. So you have to share more.
Yeah,
Don't
I
have.
have-
Please go ahead.
Do you think whatever your family creative background of art and culture helped you to become such a creative person? Does that signifies? So do you suggest us along with our technical engineering aspect, we should take little bit interest to in a kind of art and culture to become more creative? So just based on your visual, I have this question.
I think it's a very interesting point, so I mean, for me, everything is art. For me, everything is science. Yeah, so it's a very interesting point. Yeah. Any other comments? Was that a question? Was that a question?
Yes, yeah, it was a question. So, do you think that might have affected you to become more creative with your creative family background?
Yeah, I think creativity is very important. And I think when we become scientists or technocrats, how much we encourage ourselves to become a artist, or how much our artistic aspects were really given due importance. I think it is important. I'll talk about what is known as design thinking later. And we need to, I feel, I agree with you. Yes. Yeah.
Hello, sir.
Yes, yes, Dr. Meenakshi.
Hi, sir. Your journey is very inspiring, and you made your student to start their startup and companies. That is really commendable. So very nice, sir. We will take an inspiration from you.
Thank you very much. So I started teaching innovation enterprise in as early as 2011 because of my experiments with startups and innovation and enterprise journey. So I'll share a lot about all these companies when we move forward. Any other comments or questions or anything at this moment?
Sir, when we think of starting anything, we have so many questions, and we actually at that point of moment we afraid. So how to this inertia we could able to cross that? If you guide us, that would be a very nice for us.
Sure. Thank you. So maybe let me move on. Anyone has gone to toilet and come back?
You continue, sir.
Continue.
Just
So I will,
Dr. Pralhad, sorry, but I think there is somebody is not on mute, so I think you get some background noises. I'm not sure whether it is.
Sujataji, not clear.
I said I think some of the these participants are not on mute. I would prefer that we keep everybody on mute so we can hear you clearly, or maybe it's the problem on my end, but yeah. So yeah.
Sujataji, can you type that? It is muffled. The voice is muffled. Are you? I could not get that. Dr. Pawar, could you understand, or Dr. Vidyarani, could you understand what Sujataji was saying?
She was telling that there is a noise, so we have taken care.
Sorry, I think there is echo, so I cannot get properly some comment. That's
Actually, somebody has unmuted their mic while your presentation, so we are this that mic.
Okay. Do that.
Thank you for understanding.
Okay, yeah. Okay, I think, oh, because I think Sujata ji, I don't know whether I can make you also a co-host. Let me see that.
Yeah, that would be great. That would be great. Yeah.
I'll make you a co-host, okay? Then you can manage it, okay? Take care, take care. Now, folks, I will continue another sharing that is from my technology point of view or scientific technology point of view. Now, I know there are different kinds of people with different backgrounds here. Does not matter, okay? As I say, everything is an art. So if you look at patents, the literature review is actually considered under prior art. So anything is an art. Science is an art. Technology is also art, okay? So let me share about some other things. I've taken some pictures from the web. I started as early as 1996. Sujata ji mentioned about my journey into robots playing football. And I worked in ground robotics, on the ground, underwater robotics and aerial robotics, still continuing those work. So quite a number of robots. So the left side, what you see here on the bottom, this is it was the football playing robot. And we started that in as early as 1996. My Korean professor was named as a father of robot football by Time magazine. And I had the privilege to travel with him across the globe during 1996 to 2001 to propagate robot football. We even had a program in BBC Blue Peters program, 1998. Why we did it? Why that professor did it? I'd like to make a what do you call a not so good comment which I received from India. I'm not to look down on anyone. So someone in a high position made a comment, Pralhad, what are you after this football? It's a entertainment game. You should do some serious work also. It was mentioned by in a very high position. That's one reason I did not come back to India. Okay, I'm sorry to say that. I love India. I want to contribute to India. But I want to tell you the farsightedness of my Korean professor and several others in Japan, Europe, US, China, except India. India never embraced robot football, robot soccer. Though I was the founder secretary of the Federation of International Robots Soccer Association, started in 1996. Became the general secretary from 2000 to 2016, 17 years. I organized a Robot World Cup in Bangalore, Amrita Vishwavidyapeetham College in Bangalore in 2010. I didn't get any support. Why I'm saying is this, our mindset has to change. It is the right time to change. Now I'll tell you the importance of robots playing football. If you go back in 1996, there were no digital cameras. All were analog cameras. You know how much it used to cost? US dollar 2,000 plus. And that costly frame grabber card, it's called analog to digital conversion frame grabber card, could process only 4 colors. Now you see there are colors on the robot top. And there are 11 robots against 11, or 3 plus 3, or 5 against 5, or 7 against 5. In order to process all these colors, it was very tough. 1996, we started the organization By 1998, we toured across the globe. We created the demand for frame grabber cards everywhere in the world. And by 1998, we had frame grabber cards converting from analog to digital for 198, 1/10 of the cost. Now you understand what I meant by the vision for the future. It is entertainment for some, game for some, and not serious research for the typical researchers, but we created that. And you know what it has led to? This has led to autonomous vehicles on the road. Now, it took 20 years. It will take 20 years or 30 years or 40 years to really translate certain technologies to practice. Some of which can be within a year or two or near term, some of which could be medium term, some of which could be long term. So do not look down on anyone. That is other message. And never say that that is low-level technology or low-level innovation or not serious innovation or not serious research. That's not, shouldn't be there. I completed my bachelor's in engineering in 1986. My classmate, you will laugh at it, everybody laughed at him in 1986 when he created a television with LED lights. LED television was created by my classmate in Palakkad, Kerala, India in 1986. He created an oscilloscope with LEDs then. And we did not take it forward. We did not see the value of it. We did not have money to invest in that. We didn't have an ecosystem to really manufacture, multiply, and scale it up, make it affordable for people. We need to change our mindset. That's the reason I am saying. Now that mindset has changed a lot in the last number of years. With Atmanirbhar Bharat, it is really unleashing the potential in our youth. So make use of your students. Harness their potential. Put your arm around their shoulder. Make them to put their arm around your shoulders. Shoulder to shoulder, you can make wonders to happen in India. The next century is for India. And we have to be mindful of that, how to create that. So quite a lot of robots. I'll show you a video. Let me see whether I shared the audio also properly. Okay, it is shared. Okay. So the next one is the ESPN video of the robot football game, which I organized in 2005 in Singapore.
Romadal is causing mayhem. That's his fourth 7-2 to Charlton. And Romadal makes it number 5. What a player this guy is. Henri, that's Pires with a head at the far post. Consolation. Romadal, Dennis Romadal, touched in by Bend. 8-3, Charlton, rampant. Lehman looking shell-shocked as Danny Murphy touches.
So that is the video, the football game we started in 96. Now, I would like to say, since humans became what we are, walking on 2 legs or otherwise, we evolved over millions of years. From a social psychology point of view, we have not changed. Only thing is, we have learned how to cover our body with clothes. That's all. That's the only difference. From naked to full dressed people. We fight for food. We fight for oil. I mean, we fight for resources. We come together as a tribe to help each other, to support each other, to really safeguard ourselves. A community, a tribe, a nation, or there are several such segmentations. And then we fight with another tribe, another group of people, another country to get control over resources. There's no change. We have not evolved in certain way at all. Only thing is, in olden days, we were fighting with our, arms. Now we have guns or some other equipment. And those days we were facing each other and fighting. Now we don't see directly, we see through video cameras and we fight. That's the only difference. So from a social psychology point of view, a group of people coming together, cooperating to safeguard themselves, have an identity, and to compete with another group, and to control a resource, whether it is oil, land, now it is silicon or whatever it is, rare earth metals, we compete. That is the same thing in football. The ball is a single piece of resource. We cannot cut that into cakes to share with everybody. So that is a resource, one single resource. And a group of people, team A, another group of people, team B, have strategies to win it over. And that is done. There are a lot of social psychological experiments done in football, the human football. And we wanted to learn how these cooperation strategies, and we also want to learn how to compete in a scientific manner in using robots. Because as early as 1996, some people, like my professor, thought 20 years from 30 years from then, robots and humans will coexist. Robots will be multiplied. Robots have to cooperate. Robots have to compete. That is what is the future. So we have come up with a lot of theories. We have come up with a lot of interesting algorithms. We have come up with a lot of control and command learning, quite a lot of things. So I'm not going into that space now. And then a student from China came to me and asked, Prof, I want to go to Stanford. Can you give me money to work on humanoid robot, two-legged robots? I have not worked on that till 2001. And I gave him the freedom. I knew my colleagues directly and indirectly told me, Pralhad, you don't know what you're taking it up. Because it's the most complex system on earth, two-legged robots. And why are you putting your resources in something which you cannot convert into a success? But my student made me successful. He was an electrical engineer, electrical electronics engineer. He did mechanical design. He did electronics design. He wrote the computer programs. He integrated them, made it work, and we were the champions, world champions in 2003, 5, and 6. And of course, second prize and other prizes later. I was ready to walk a path which is not certain. I was ready to risk my reputation. I was ready to invest in my student I was ready to support my student to achieve heights, and even to Stanford, by the way. And I would like to share some videos of those robots. So the left here are different. Okay, those are not my robots. The right four are my robots. So this is one of my students' fiancée. At that time, they got married later on. She was a music conductor. She's wearing a measuring tape. And that, whatever is captured, will be played back this fidgety humanoid robot. But these are our own robot. So I'll click, all the videos will play. And I brought this robot to India a lot of time, majority of the time to Kerala, Tamil Nadu, Karnataka, and also to Bengal, West Bengal, Jaipur, Kanpur. He is retired now and he's resting. All these robots are resting. And that led to, along with the person who was instrumental in Honda humanoid robot, Ambarish Goswami, I could edit a major reference work. That's what I am, an academician, researcher, entrepreneur, and philanthropist. I work in robotics, humanoid robots, big data, deep learning, artificial intelligence, and frugal innovation. Entrepreneurship, I have done quite a number of activities. And I like to say, across the world, there are a lot of things happening. And in India, it is making in India. Startup India, and also Atmanirbhar Bharat. Every country is conscious of investing in innovation, having their own startups, having their own unicorns. Why? There are several aspects we have to keep it in mind. One, we have to create jobs for ourselves. We cannot expect, especially for India, that jobs will be created in Gulf. There are a lot of people from Kerala in Gulf. And jobs will be created in Europe or in US, Australia, like that. India has to create more jobs. Secondly, the intellectual property associated with whether it is social or technological related sciences. We have pharmacy people there, including pharmacy. Pharmacy is, there are two parts to it. One is the biological or chemical related aspect. There is also the technological innovation that is happening. So my son's company and my student's company in Singapore, we are developing robotic solutions for a pharmacy giant in the US, where we use AI and robotics. So we cannot really separate innovation, or we cannot say that innovation is confined to one space or other. So IP creation, IP is the, intellectual property is very costly, and companies should have good number of patents and copyrights and IPs, and as part of their valuation. So if you look at traditionally, the IT companies in India did not focus on IP creation at all. Though a lot of IP was being created in India, but those IPs or patents were not done with the money from India and for India. It was from money from outside and for other companies in rest of the world. That has to change. So I'll be talking about intellectual property, patents, certain aspects of it at a later point in time in these workshops, and understand the value of it. How can we come up with patents? Are patents very difficult? Is it like rocket science or not? Can someone in your college come up with patents? You may be having it. I'm not saying you don't have it, but there are certain misconceptions about patents. It's very difficult. You have to be totally innovative. What is meant by innovation? We need to understand it. Innovation can be very simple, not complex. And how do you go through that? That's why we need to have, as I mentioned before, we need to come together to make the team smart. And that's how you, in your institution, all of you coming together, you can make yourself great. Okay, so that is my technological and other, space. Okay, now I'd like to pause again. I have another 25-30 minutes. Any quick questions, comments before I move on? If not, I'll continue. Now, there is a saying.
Hello.
Somebody speaking?
You might okay, sir. When question is asked, we were able to.
Hello. Sir,
Yeah.
this is Amar. I have a question regarding one of your product. I have a question regarding one of your product. You shown that is iSave. It's a ventilator sharing machine.
Yeah, okay, I'm not able to hear the words properly. If somebody is sitting in front of the Zoom login, can you speak and share with me?
He has a question about your, what is that? iSave ventilators.
So iSave is a ventilation splitter. So the one issue we faced in the hospitals is that they have bought ventilators already and very costly. They don't want to replace it. So some doctors asked us during COVID, instead of buying new ventilators, can we have one ventilator but control 2 patients? So it is equivalent to doubling the capacity of the ventilators in hospitals. So there we have controls for the ventilators for 2 patients separately. So we created the outlet and inlet of a ventilator connected to a splitting unit where we can individually control 2 patients. And it is very interesting, innovation, I would say, because of course we started with ventilators, but the doctors wanted something of this kind, and that was a very interesting byproduct, a variant of the ventilator we developed, and we could remove certain parts of the ventilator and convert into what is known as a splitter iSave. Did I answer your doubt?
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Yeah. If you have anything specific, you can text me in the WhatsApp so that it'll be easy for me to understand it. Okay. Yeah. So shall I move on?
Question is there, sir. Talk loudly if possible.
Hello.
Yes.
I'm Dr. Indy Nisar. I'm audible to you?
Yes.
So 7 to 8 years back, I went to IIT Mumbai and UAE, where I saw robotics laboratory where students are doing robots and they are having competitions. Like such competitions are there worldwide.
I heard about IIT Bombay, but what was the specific point? I could not get that word.
I will ask, so are there any robotic competitions worldwide, the way they conduct in India? That's his question.
There are a lot of robotic competitions across the world. Some are, one is the RoboCup, Japanese based, but it is worldwide. FIRA is from Korea, where I was involved, Federation of International Robot Soccer. Then there are quite a number of competitions, and IIT Bombay took part in some, and BITS Pilani took part, and I fielded an IIT Madras team, but after that nothing happened. And there are other competitions also, Robocon and all that. So there are competitions for primary school, secondary school, junior college, that is the +2 equivalent, colleges, and also high-level research related. So in India also now it is becoming more and more active. But I think lately, the last 5+ years, a lot of things are happening. Did I answer your question?
Yes, sir. Yes. Can you continue?
Sorry?
You can continue now.
Okay, I'll continue. Okay, now this is very important. Given 1 hour to save the planet, I would spend 59 minutes understanding the problem and 1 minute resolving it. Some people say it is from Einstein. I don't know. There are some, I searched on the web, and it's not very sure from whom it is. And this has to be our mindset. Instead of jumping into an innovation, you should know how to innovate. What are all the ways to change ourselves to really have an innovative mindset? So that is what is known as the innovation engine. Basically, knowledge provides, or knowledge is a fuel for the imagination. So you have to consider bringing in or allowing yourself to imagine. And imagination helps you to transform the knowledge into new ideas. So always people say, dare to dream. And we have to start that from our schools. Dare to dream. And in that, we have to have an attitude. I need to change, modify, improve. So again, personal point of view, I like to do certain storytelling alone. Storytelling is very powerful. If we take our Indian, mythology, Puranas, Upanishads, or anything that is in India, always story is part of it. The story, people can relate to people, names, and they remember it. So storytelling is very important in education, whether it is science, technology, pharmacy, arts, or anywhere. So one story is the attitude about, in my childhood, though we were rich in our community and the region, there was a time we were not so rich with cash, because my mother passed away, my uncle passed away. I saw 6 deaths in 10 years' time. So in 1970, we were the richest, and 1980, we were people with nothing much, with a lot of land. I was even, not allowed to buy rice from, not rice, I think the other things from a shop because we didn't pay the money. And at that time, we didn't have money to make better furniture for our guests. So when I know there are some guests coming to the house, I look at my space and I try to change the positions of the chairs and traditional wooden sofas or whatever you call that. Put some clothes on top of it, colored clothes, put a plant here and there, and I try to clean it up like anything. So I wanted to show the best show for our guests because we consider Aditi as God, Aditi Deva Bhava. So that is our attitude. Even if you don't have anything, you can have an attitude. You can own an attitude. You can use that attitude to transform yourself and the environment you are in. And whatever small thing you have, make a difference, make a change, make a way towards, I can do it differently. That will give you a kind of a feedback, positive feedback. I have done something. I tell the same thing to my students. They undergo difficulties, but do something, however small it is. So outside this innovation engine, definitely we need to have resources, habitat, and culture. Culture plays a big role. Resources are your assets. So your community, your management, your faculty, your students, your support staff, your students' parents, your other stakeholders, they are your assets. So you have to see education in that particular manner. And whether you're at home, school, or office, you are habituated. So what you do at home, you don't do at school. What you do professionally in school, you don't do it at home. Can you change that? Is it possible to transform ourselves? It's an opportunity. I do that. And I've seen a lot of people really doing that. And culture is very powerful. Collective beliefs, values, behaviors. I would like to say something. In Kerala, I go to temples, and there is a Krishna temple in Guruvayur, Tricur, Kerala. In my childhood, when I went with my brother, and I lost my mother long back, so my foster mother and others, brother urinated in the temple complex. And the mother was very comfortable to inform the priest, my son urinated here. I was wondering why. Because when a child urinates in that temple, I don't know whether it is true everywhere, there is a standard operating procedure in that particular temple to really cleanse it. Shuddhi, the Shuddha, okay, part of it. That is a standard operating procedure, thousands of years old, which we confine to our temples, which we did not bring into our house, we did not bring to our public spaces, we did not bring into our offices, we did not bring into our corporate beyond a point. But that is changing definitely. So standard operating procedure is not outside, did not come from outside. It is in our culture. Unfortunately, it is tied to religion and all the fights and all that. So the rituals are standard operating procedures. So yesterday, I completed 5 seasons of a television show in Prime Video called The Last Ship. It's a US ship. And it is exactly similar to what we went through during COVID. But I think this particular series came before COVID. A virus comes, wipes out people completely, about 70–80%. and wars, local war lords come into act, all kinds of things happening. And there, only one ship could control it because they followed operating procedures to the core. Even under an extreme famine, extreme virus, extreme war, they follow their rules. And that's what our forefathers have taught us. The standard operating procedures, the rituals. We need to bring that from religion and temples to our offices, educational institutions, personal life, and corporate life. And that is happening everywhere. So, resources, habitats, and culture. You have to understand. I'll talk about culture a little more later. Culture is a complex force field that influences an organization and the processes. We always think we manage culture, right? In fact, culture manages us more than we managing the culture, okay? And it is happening largely outside of our awareness. We don't understand it, but it naturally happens, okay? So culture is constructed during day-to-day interaction. SVRE, your college, can create a culture which is innovative in mind, which is listening in its actions and trying to contribute to nation building. You take the lead, you can make a difference. And today I ask you to talk about 2 good things about your colleagues. You can do that in your classroom. Try to bring in such innovative methods to connect with people. So what I did in one of these modules is that I give them, thick, small sheets of cards, and give to everybody 5 of them. You write the good things about your 5 friends and pass it to them. And don't write your name. And that made a lot of change, transformational change. I could see the interactions change. So such simple thoughts. The investment may be much less. And I would like to say something. We invest a lot on our infrastructure, buildings, machines, computers, smart rooms, vehicles. How much do we invest for classroom interaction other than the desk, the ceilings, the board, and the projector? We can invest our time more for that to really transform the culture that is there. I do not know your college culture beyond a point. I don't know anything about the students' attitude, but I'm saying it in general. So day-to-day interactions you can change. Then next one, I'm going to share something. What is that? It's a wonderful lady walking with grace. Think of herself, the way she has kept her right arm forward, the way she is holding that steel pot on her with her left arm supported by her hip. Look at her left leg, pointed fingers upward. An amazing step ahead. Is she looking down? No, she's looking up. She has a hairdo, not by combing, but because of the air, because of her life. The hair is having its own way to show to the world who she is. Her grace is no less than any supermodel. The only difference is supermodels don't want to eat, where she struggles to eat. This is something we need to understand. Our view to world has to change. Our way of interpreting, our way of understanding, our culture of observations, or the way we observe, has to change. With that, I would like to do an exercise. I'll show you a picture. I will ask you what you think about it. You may take, I'll give you 1 minute, and you may write down what you think about it, or less than 1 minute. If you think, if you can get the idea, you can share with me quickly, and then we'll take it forward. So let me go, with all due respect to the photographer who took such a wonderful picture, I like to take it forward. What do you see in this picture? What does she need? Anyone has thoughts? If you want to share, you may share. What does she need? What is she doing?
She's trying to take a book from the shelf, and
Yeah.
she needs some aids which will help her to reach up to the that height.
So she needs something to support her to reach out to the height. Yes, it's an interesting observation. Any other observation, folks?
To take herself to height where she is not able to do because of taking different efforts by she want to take which is not able to her by regular way.
Interesting view. Next view, please. Any other view? Oh, somebody has put on something on the chat. Let me take that. Okay. Book for reading. She has perfect balance. Very interesting. Okay. Okay. Very nicely put. Yeah. That's a good observation, right? Very good observation. Okay. What else you see?
We can compare him with a basketball player. He went to basket and this lady is having balance where she want to take different height books.
Yeah, I could not hear properly. Sujataji, did you understand what was said?
No, for me also it was slightly unclear. Probably it is some echoing.
Yeah. Dr. Pralhad, is it a way for them to text me through the WhatsApp? Then I will know. If you have WhatsApp, you can just type in one word or one phrase, then I'll be able to see what you're sharing.
Now I am audible. Hello.
Yeah, audible. Yes.
So we can compare him, her with great basketball player. Basketball player is basketing ball while she is taking books, which is not up to her height.
Yeah. So again, that echo was too much. So she's trying to pick up exactly what she wants. That's Dr. Meena is saying. Okay.
No, he actually compared her to a basketball player. Actually, her gait and her angle and her reach is similar to a basketball player.
Yes, Sujataji, not very clear. I had something wrong with the audio.
Actually, he mentioned about comparing her to a basketball player.
Very interesting. Interesting.
There are
okay. Yes. Basketball player. Okay. Thank you very much. Okay. Any other view? So if somebody says, maybe Dr. Pralhad, if you can easily access the chat window, you may type the main aspect of it, or others, if you wish to share with me through the WhatsApp, you can do that as well. Okay, yeah. So any further point before I move on? Now, when I ask, what does she need? It's a very important question to understand. What is meant by need? Or were you trying to relate to her state from the point of view of her pain? So when you say book, high chair, ladder, are you trying to solve her pain, or were you trying to address her needs? These two are different. So what is a pain? Trying to reach out to the book, not having the right ladder, not having the stool at the height or chair at the height. That is a pain. But what is her need? The question is very important. What is her need? I'd like to pause again. I'd like to hear from you. What is her need?
Actually, in the chat box, we have Dr. Sandeep writing that despite all odds, she's trying to achieve the target of hers.
Yes. Book and Dr. Pawar is setting book and knowledge. Actually, her need is knowledge. Knowledge. Now, because book is a medium to get knowledge. You can get knowledge in different ways. Book is only a vehicle for getting the knowledge. Now, if you look at this, somebody solved this issue beautifully. There's a very good solution to this in the world using technology, and that company is a multi-million or billion-dollar company. Can you imagine, or can you think, what is that solution out there? If you look at from the knowledge point of view, what is that product? There is a product which is taking care of this. What is that? If it is knowledge that she needs, somebody sees, of course, if you see her pain, you can provide a ladder, you can provide a high pedestal chair. If you can ask someone to get the book for her, that is to solve her pain. But if you see her need as knowledge, yes, it's a Kindle. The book, Kindle book. Kindle came. Kindle is a book by Amazon, right? Is it Amazon? Sometimes I make mistakes also, right? Yeah. Now, an innovator, we see this problem every time, right? Everywhere we see this problem. We try to solve by ladders. We try to solve by high pedestal chairs or stools. But somebody thought about, why do we need books? Why don't we have Kindle, Amazon Kindle? That is one of the greatest innovations. So, are you a prisoner of pains? Are you a person who can perceive the needs of the people? You have to think differently. We have to have this in our culture. We have to have in this particular way of understanding the needs of people, whether at home, whether with your husband, wife, children, parents, friends, relatives, neighbors, public, students, management, staff, whoever it is. Are we solving their pains? Those are quick fix solutions. Are we addressing their needs? You have to have that mindset. It's not easy to maintain all the time. You have to practice it on a daily basis. You have to become it a habit. You have to practice it in every space you have. Every space is a resource for you to practice. Then there will be change. There will be changes. That's what is known as design thinking. The thinking is to be positioned in a way that I have a mindset to come up with something that will support the needs, that will help in the needs of the people. So design thinking, first you have to empathize. You have to put yourself in the shoes of the person. But there, not purely be carried away by the pain. You have to understand the needs. Then you have to define, figure out the problem. Again, try to understand from the point of view of the needs and not to be a prisoner of the pains. So define the problem and then, so empathize, define, then you have to ideate. You have to have a lot of ideas. You have to brainstorm. Then you have to have a prototype. Then you have to test. And sometimes the test, when you test, that will not solve. Again, you have to see. So this process of going through the cycle is that we have to have. So in my childhood, when we were poor, when we had visitors, every time I go through this process, I did not know at that time it was design thinking, to change the positions and to innovate that space. And I've done a lot of interesting things at that time. I can't share everything. Putting flowers, flower pots, you can put I used to put my foster mother's some scarf somewhere, to hide something, to put a different perspective, putting a traditional pot with water and flowers in that. You can do a lot of things. You can innovate in that space. So this is what we have to really understand. And as far as innovation is concerned, design thinking. So for the well-being of our individuals and the nation, there are three powerful things: knowledge, power, wealth. And I would like to relate that to the trinities. The Brahma for creation requires Saraswati, the knowledge. And if you look at the Durga power, that is Prakriti, the nature, and the power rests in Mahashiva. And then the wealth, the space is wealth, Vishwam Vishadidi Vishnu. And his consort is Lakshmi, wealth. So this is captured in our Puranas and Idihasas or whatever that we know, but unfortunately it's confined to our religion. I'm not saying one religion, but we need to look at it from the point of view of knowledge acquisition, having the power, the knowledge will give you the power to utilize the wealth, to amplify it and to distribute it and become wealthier, and everybody will be benefited. That's why India was using this. That's why everybody was trying to look for India centuries back. Even America was found on the way of finding India. And we lost a lot, but we have an opportunity to grow through innovation, through enterprise, having the knowledge, having the power, having the wealth to do more, to do great things. So I would like to share one more slide today, and I'll stop today's introduction to this subject, and we go to more specifics from the next sessions onwards. In 2020, October, World Economic Forum report says that by 2025, 23, 24, 25, 2+ years, 3 years, there will be a lot of jobs lost. 85 million jobs lost, and 97 new roles of jobs will emanate. This is because of the automation, because of AI, because of robotics. And COVID accelerated this. This is known as creative destruction. And I would like to say AI can apply to any field, whether it is language, whether it is science, art, engineering, pharmacy, anything for that matter. My colleague in the language department, she is from South Korea. She knows 7 languages. She uses natural language processing, which is part of artificial intelligence, in her department to do research. In the Gurukula, where I had, the students have to submit their portfolios, and we use natural language processing to understand their way of relating to certain frameworks, meaning sense of belonging, sense of mattering, inclusivity, and diversity. I use that. So do not shy away from, do not say that AI and robotics is engineering. It's everywhere. So we have to create more jobs, and innovation is a key. And that's why we have to embrace change. Educational institutions have to embrace change. Educators have to embrace change. Management has to embrace change. In that process, we can create an environment for our students who are our future creators, leaders, to embrace change. They will create companies. They will become part of the governments. And we have to really do a lot of upskilling and reskilling. I consider this course is trying to share whatever I have experienced, however small that is, for you to grow, to contribute to that nation building. I like to stop here today, and just 2 minutes before 2-hour completion. Thank you for listening. I would like to hear your views, any comments, suggestions for improving my sharing with you.
Thank you, sir. It was wonderful session. I hope I am audible clearly.
Yes.
Okay, so before we go into other discussion, I assume next Saturday you will not be available. So we will have next session on 25th of February, right? So that's the.
Let me check that 1 minute.
Oh, no, sir, not on 25th. That was also already cancelled.
25th, no. 25th February, no.
So then
because I'll be in Indonesia.
In the March.
March,
Okay.
sorry.
Yeah, 4th March.
Yeah. No, 11th March we have.
Okay,
11th March.
Sorry, so next session will be on 11th March, yes, we'll confirm. So we have almost 1 month, all of us, to digest the terminologies of design thinking, and we'll keep working. Thank you, sir.
Yeah, Dr. Pawar, can I give a kind of a assignment?
Yes.
Yes.
We have 1 month to do that.
Okay, can I share with you the WhatsApp?
Yeah, you can do that, yes.
I'll type it there instead of sharing. So maybe, I mean, just give a brief. Not now, you may not need to do now, but when you come back, have 1 slide by each one of you. And I want you to say one thing you changed into your house or home. One thing you changed, okay? One thing you have changed in relation to your colleagues. One thing you have changed in relation to your students. One thing you have changed in relation to the public. Is that okay?
Yes, sir, yes.
Okay.
I will
Okay,
make sure.
and then if you don't mind, we can share with everybody, but I don't know, Sujata ji, how to do this in a manner without sharing with everybody till the deadline is completed. but because I
They
don't
can maybe share it with me, and then I'll collate everything with their names. They can share, and then maybe we put it as a slideshow. I mean,
Wonderful.
share the slides. Is that okay, Dr. Pawar?
Yes, yes, no problem, no, not at all.
Yeah.
That's
So
good.
just share it. I'll collate everything. Please put your names so that when we share, it's easy to take up for discussion.
Yes. So maybe if yeah. Dr. Pralhad, once
Basically, I mentioned one. If you have more than one, no problem. Do it, okay?
Any question, anything, anyone want to comment from our side? Say, okay.
I like to hear from you whether it was my audio was okay, whether my pace was okay, my pronunciation was okay, my examples were okay. I would like to hear that also. You may give some kind of a feedback.
Yeah, we will raise hand if you can show cameraman. So yes, so that's kind of we cannot shout, but we can shout also maybe. That's what is required. Everyone is shy here as we are like hierarchically sitting. But as you suggested, we have to remove hierarchy. So can we shout as there is no exam outside? How did you like his session?
Excellent session.
So thank you very much. And
So maybe I request Pralhad ji and Sujata ji to exit, and we will have discussion. Maybe only Shivsagar madam and Pawar madam can continue. We will have 10-minute discussion to try to digest what you have taught us for last 2 hours.
Yeah, so I will make Sujata ji the host, or Sujata ji, you want to pass it to somebody?
No, please make us the host. Make me the host. I have a few. I mean, I need to discuss a little with Dr. Pawar before I exit. Yeah.
Oh, wonderful. So thank you very much.
Thank you,
for
Pralhad ji.
Yeah, because I consider, there is something called stage and player. Okay, I consider getting a stage created by you. It's a privilege. So thank you for being here. Thank you for all your souls, setting aside 2 hours for someone like this to me. And I really appreciate it. Thank you very much. Bye.
Yeah, we also should thank Sujata ji for coordinating it nicely, and Dr. Shivsagar.
No. I like I told you, it was the passion from both the ends. Dr. Pralhad is very passionate about his work, and he is passionate about India and sharing his information. I mean, that is the thing that motivated me to connect to you all as well, because you are passionate learners. So when a passionate guru meets a passionate learner, it's a wonder that happens, miracle, That's why I just was the medium to bring these two people together. So thank you for joining this session. It's given me a kind of sense of, what to say, pride that I was instrumental in getting you all together, because this is one thing is very close to my heart. Thank you so much again.
Thank you. So I will leave now. So see you
Yes.
in March. Bye-bye.
Thank you so much, sir.
Dr. Pawar, there was a question from Dr. Yellowji, whether you would like to have his session for the next week. Please let us know. I'm not insisting on a reply now, but if your team is okay and if you are not having any other commitments, please let us know, and then we can see whether we need to have that session or not. So that is all I wanted to let you all know. But actually, ma'am, Shivsagar ma'am, I think we'll have to exit this Zoom meeting, because this was given to me by the GIST forum, which is not, not personal.
You can exit, and maybe Shivsagar madam, you join through another meeting, which
Yeah,
Yes, sir.
sorry about that. And that's the reason I couldn't share the credentials, because I was just asked to log in with these credentials. I don't know whether it could.
No issue, ma'am.
Sorry about it.
Thank you,
Thank you
ma'am.
so much.
You can share link to her